up your view count by running it?
Sure, no. I think it does it by IP address. One,
yeah.
2, 3. Sweet. And it looks like we are live. Hey everybody, it's been a very long time since I've done a live stream, so I thought we'd start with something a little simple today. We have an A1466. This is a 820-00165 logic board. It's either going to be a 2015 or 2017, and this one looks like it's been priorly repaired. So it comes in, it's just not doing anything. Let's figure out exactly what's going on with just some simple troubleshooting. First, went ahead and I've already turned on the power supply, and we're going to see how much amperage is being drawn. All right, so right now we're getting about 0.003, basically nothing. Now what's interesting about this one is that we're getting intermittent charging. When I hook it up to a normal MagSafe charger, sometimes we'll get a green light, other times we get nothing. This one, since it has been previously repaired, let's just give a visual inspection underneath the microscope and see what has been touched or what was originally wrong with this one. It appears to have been liquid damaged, just because, let's turn on the overhead camera here for a second. You can kind of see we got a lot of rust, specifically right next to the processor. So that kind of concerns me. In fact, actually, to save some time, let's go ahead and put our multimeter into resistance and check and see what our resistance to ground is on the processor. And we have this multimeter is wanting to make up its mind. It's kind of fluctuating right now, but it's not 0. It looks like it's between 15 to 30. We'll check and see why it's fluctuating like that in a moment. But let's look underneath the microscope and see what we got. So just right here next to the processor, I can already see some residue. It kind of looks like maybe there was some flux at one point, or this could still just be some residual moisture from when this was originally damaged. I can only assume it was liquid damage because we can see that our sensors have been tripped. However, this also could be tripped from someone ultrasonic cleaning afterwards. And truthfully, that's kind of what all this grime I see here looks like. It doesn't look like liquid damage per se, more like flux that was improperly cleaned in a ultrasonic cleaner. Probably one that had some chemicals that needed to be replaced. But right here, looks like we have some oxidation around our EDP cable or backlight circuit. Our JTAG connector looked like it been burned out at some point. Yeah, so you can see more clearly we definitely have rust right here next to our CPU. Now let's flip it over and see what's going on. So let's start over here on this side, kind of work our way around. Okay, so here is our SMC, System Management Controller. And if we zoom in a little closer, we'll get this in focus, we can see these 3 capacitors. Now, just from past experience, I know that that is going to be some capacitors that are connected to our PP3V42 G3 hot line that goes directly to the SMC. Now, I'm curious if there is, if there was rust out there or corrosion at some point, if that's affecting our SMC, which would kind of line up with the fact we're getting an intermittent green light. The green light is controlled by the SMC communicating with the charger. Right here, we have something that looks like a piece of glass. I almost wonder what that came from. Let's set that aside. So looking around our PP bus generator, it looks all right for the most part. So it's really hard to tell what was actually done to this unit, if anything was done to it. Aha! There is a lot of moisture or some residue right next to our RAM. I'm almost wondering if someone had reflowed the RAM on this guy at some point. If so, this may not be one we can fix. And if so, I wonder why someone would have reflowed the RAM. This model in particular is not used to RAM failure, but the 2011 MacBook Air is known for it, for the RAM to just, the solder joints just kind of go bad. All right, so giving a visual inspection, we can clearly see that there definitely was something, some moisture, a reflow, I'm assuming, was done on this computer, just because it looks like maybe some flux was left behind from the RAM. So let's go ahead and hook our power supply back up and measure with our multimeter what we're getting on our PP bus line, because it seems like we're getting practically nothing. There we are, we got that back in voltage mode, and PP bus, I personally like to check right here on this fuse. 0.6. That's hardly anything. So, do we have a short on that line? No, we're in the mega ohms, so that doesn't appear to be the case. Let's check and see if PP3V42G3 hot's supposed to be oh. You see that? That is a missing diode that is supposed to take our charger. How is this even getting a green light? That is a missing diode that is supposed to connect our charger or our PP bus line to then talk to our PP3V42G3 hot, but it's just completely gone. So someone has definitely worked around in this unit. There's supposed to be, like I said, a MOSFET diode. I'm mixing up my words here. There's supposed to be something there, and there's nothing there anymore. I think this one may truthfully just be a waste of time. We're going to go ahead and replace that with the proper component and see what it does. I'll be right back with the donor board. Or truthfully, this particular component is going to be on any of the A1466, about the 2012, but I know for a fact it's going to be on the 2013, 14, 15, and 17. So I have I have an identical board right here with a dead CPU. So let's just go ahead and take that component. And just for my own curiosity, actually before we go much further, let's look into our schematics and see what that is. So let's pull on our on-screen camera, open up our Flex Board View software by Paul Daniels. You can download the software from pldaniels.com. This one is an 820-00165. And we worked on one recently, so saved in our recently opened files. And that component is right here. What are you responsible? D7005. All right. So yes, this appears to be a diode that lets PPBus G3 hot communicate to our PP3V42G3 hot power supply. It comes from two different lines. One is the DC in, which is going to be our MagSafe charger. The other side, PPBus, that's when it's just running strictly off battery, because this computer can be powered off two main power lines. That's going to be the charger or the battery. And this is gone. So how this computer even got a green light makes no sense, because without PP3V42, you're not going to generate power that is then going to turn on the system management controller. If the system management controller doesn't have power, it's not going to talk to the MagSafe charger, therefore it's not going to get a green light. This one's a mystery diagnosis for sure. So let's just go ahead and swap that component over. We'll turn on our camera here. And let's just say goodbye to that for now and get our donor board. And there's our D7005 or 7005. Turn on our fume extractor, which appears to be unplugged. All right, there we are. So let's go ahead and apply some flux right here to our T00 or 7005. Turn on our power supply, but make sure that the tip of, not our power supply, our rework station, make sure the tip of our rework station is that of a MacBook and not an iPhone. It's a larger nozzle. Hello, Warren. Thanks for joining the chat. Apologize for not doing any streams. We've just been really busy the last several months and really haven't had the opportunity to do live streams. Okay, so now that we have our temperature set, let's go ahead and hit this with some air. Let's turn up the airflow. There we go. Mel Sanchez says, hola. Hola to you too, Mel. Yeah, just between the business kind of picking up and getting new employees, kind of working on marketing, so we're focusing more on our local area. Just really haven't had the time to sit down and do live streams as much. All right, so now we have our D7005. Let's go ahead and go back to our patient board here.